This is my first Spike Lee joint, and it certainly will not be my last. Wow, I was blown away by how much I love this film. It made me feel right at home and right snug right there, being somebody from Brooklyn, but also shocked me to my core. I'm gonna break it down, break down what I like, the good, break down the themes, and how it all came together to make this masterpiece. Sal is an Italian pizza owner in Brooklyn. A neighborhood local, Buggin Out, becomes upset when he sees that the pizzeria's wall of fame exhibits only Italian actors. Buggin Out believes a pizzeria in a black neighborhood should showcase black actors, but Sal disagrees. The wall symbolizes racism and hate to Buggin Out and other people in the area, and tensions rise. This movie works on 4 different levels that mix really well and complement each other. The first level I'm going to work with is going to be talking about the antagonist, the surprising antagonist that you never really see in the movie, and that is the heat.
When I was little, I saw this show. I don't know if it was One Step Beyond, Alfred Hitchcock, or Twilight Zone. It was about the scientists that had discovered that after 95 degrees, the murder rate goes up. And you see him throughout the whole half an hour of the show looking at a thermometer as it inches up. Then he got murdered at the end. I must have been like 6 years old. That's all I remember about the show. But I do remember it was the hottest day of the summer. And then most of the volatile, riots and stuff like that have always happened, for the most part, in the summer.
It's been really well documented over the years that when the summer happens, that's when the most violence happens. And with the temperatures rising every single year, you see violent acts rising even more through gang violence, neighbors fighting each other, school shootings, and you see all these things happening during the warm months of the year. And they even kind of touch on that a little bit in the film, where they talk about the 3 guys on the corner, talk about the ice caps melting and how it's going to keep getting hotter and hotter, something that it's really relevant right now, but he was talking about it all the way in 1989 about how the water was going to rise. And I see articles about that all the time, about how the waters are rising because the ice caps are melting. So I thought that was really interesting for him to bring that up in this movie from then, and also to tie in to not only the central themes in here about heat and how it causes people to become uncomfortable and antagonistic, but also how that it affects people today in real life. And that's when the most violence happens. And this obsession Spike Lee has with heat and how it affects people, and how he incorporated it and factored it in the film. You can see it, you can feel it, it's like a texture in the film, how everybody's sweating, the bright colors, and every moment in the movie feels hot. It just always feels hot, and you can feel the temperature building as the day goes on, and everyone is complaining about the heat, and you can see them baking.
Man, it is hot today. Whoa, it's hot out here, man. It is hot today.
You know it's hot out.
Yeah, I just said that. I said it's hot out here.
One of the pivotal moments in the movie showcasing this is that when the Italian guy is driving his car and the kids are playing in the fire hydrant trying to get some relief from the heat, and instead of driving down a different block to get to where he's going, he has his top down, he's upset, he's hot, and he starts antagonizing these kids. And knowing that they may spray him with the water anyway, still drives through, and it creates one of the funniest moments in the film.
Catch the name of the suspect.
Fuck you, their name. Mo and Joe. What do I know their names?
Mo and Joe what, sir?
Mo and Joe what? Mo and Joe what? Mo and Joe Black. How's that?
That's one example. Bugging Out, being inside of the pizzeria, Sal's Pizzeria, and one of the main cruxes of the film. And the way it's executed, I didn't know it was going to be such an important plot point later on in the film, but the fact that he was in a area, or in Sal's place, which is a safe place, supposed to be a little cooler than outside, getting food, and gets kicked out and has nowhere else to go, and it's just baking in the sun after having this heated confrontation about something he feels really passionate about, really shows how you can have something fester in you, and the weather and the elements can just make it a lot worse. Pino's fight with Smiley, the way that he was inside, and he was a little bit agitated at first, and you can see that he has a lot of hatred in his heart for black people because his friends at home are racist, and he feels like he should be doing better and not realizing the opportunities that he actually has. But as soon as he steps outside to confront Smiley, his intensity and his agitation gets bigger, knowing that Smiley is not, the best person to be arguing with because he has a disability, and just really coming at the whole block that was trying to defend Smiley. Multiple conversations through this film build to this explosive third act that shocked me. But the way the movie is set up, you don't realize it because it's filmed like a slice of life film. It's filmed like how when you think about like a movie like Friday, on the same block, one block the whole time, with two or a couple central characters and them just living their daily lives and showcasing different colorful characters throughout. Very similar premise, but the way they slowly put the drama and the backstory of each character and how it builds and ties into how everything turns out, I think was absolutely brilliant, and it ties into the second level how this movie works, and it's the themes.
Favorite basketball player?
Magic Johnson.
Who's your favorite movie star?
Eddie Murphy.
Who's your favorite rock star? Prince. You're a Prince fan.
Boss, Bruce.
Prince.
Bruce.
Pino, all you ever talk about is nigga this and nigga that. And all your favorite people are so-called niggas.
It's different. Magic, Eddie, Prince are not niggas. I mean, they're not black. I mean, let me explain myself. They're not really black. I mean, they're black, but they're not really black. They're more than black. It's different.
It's different.
Race relations and gentrification and mixing of races and how they interact with each other is a big theme throughout this movie and a big conversation starter. And I think that the way they approached it in 1989 and showcasing how these people who feel like they belong in this neighborhood, the black people that belong in this neighborhood, and how they interact with people who are different from them and coming in and not kind of respecting the way they go about things is a great example of a way how people interact still to this day. I think that what this movie shows is that a lot of people lack communication in positive manners, and when they're upset or don't know how to explain why they're so upset about something and expect you just to understand, I think that it comes out in an aggressive manner. Bugging Out, having his Jordans and the guy in the Boston jersey just like stepping on his foot, scuffing up, basically ruining his sneakers, which is a big no-no in the black community. But I think that represents a little bit more than just, the scuffing of the sneakers. I think it represents talking about like people coming in that into neighborhoods and cultures and kind of changing things or thinking they're fixing things and just disrespecting the way people who are already there live and how they go about things. That also goes to the central conflict with Bugging Out. What he wanted to do and what he wanted for Sal to do, what made sense to me. It's a noble cause. If you are in a black neighborhood and all your customers are black and they come in and all they see is white faces on the Hall of Fame, and there is black actors and activists that you could mix in there. It's not saying take away what you have, but just add more. That's all he wanted to do. But the way the message was conveyed was antagonistic, and he felt like he had to defend himself and his own personal culture. So it just became this back and forth where they argue. And I think that was actually really brilliant to really lay that there, but have it played in a way where it just seemed like a normal argument. Community member Don Walker asked in my post, asking questions about this movie was, do I think race relations has gotten better since this film, and is gentrification a positive or negative? In terms of race relations, I think that race relations have gotten like an inch better than what was shown in this film, because I think there's a lot of people that have more of understanding and information on how to communicate and things like that, and there's a lot more allies on both sides and a lot more of a mixing and people understanding how things work and how maybe you should try to respect one's culture or even talk to people about it. But I think for the most part across the United States and especially other countries where it's a lot worse, it hasn't gotten that much better. We still have a lot of these antagonistic, confrontational conversations where people have no sympathy or empathy for one another and try to just showcase that they're right, instead of trying to fix the problem and attack it together and get over it. And it's something that I don't know when it's going to get better. It might not get better in my lifetime. But when it comes to gentrification, I don't think it's a positive thing. I just think it's a change for change. It's not helping the people in the neighborhood that need help to get better schooling, better hospitals, better stores, healthier food, better infrastructure inside their houses so they can have an AC. It's not helping those people. It's pushing those people out and moving other people in, and then changing it for those people who are moving in and raising the prices. So the people who've been there for the longest and made the neighborhood desirable have to be pushed out because they can't afford it anymore. So That's my personal opinion on those factors there. Now let's get to the third level, and that's the characters, the residents of this film, the colorful cast that works on multiple levels in this movie that I love so much. And what the part that made me really like it so much is that I felt like they are characters, so they're heightened in a way in the movie, but they also represent people that I feel like I seen growing up. I could go outside right now and find people out there just like that. Then they're just really great because they're casted really, really well. Community member, see for yourself, Ken Sparks, go check out his channel, asked me to talk about how many great actors that I saw, count them, that I saw going through this movie. And I was surprised to see, because I didn't, it's my first time watching the film, never knew anything about it. And I gotta say, I was shocked to see, obviously Spike Lee's the main character. I was shocked that he was the main character. I didn't know he acted. I thought he was just a writer-director. Did a great job as Buki. But then, Martin Lawrence, a young Martin Lawrence having a supporting role like that just blew my mind, because I can't think of Martin Lawrence having such a small role now. Rosie Perez, Sam Jackson as the radio dude. He was awesome. Just really surprised to see him. I didn't know he was in this movie as well. John Turturro, which character I disliked, but he was great in the role as well. And just so many great actors. Giancarlo Esposito, I probably said his name. I always say his name wrong, his first name. But you guys know, the guy from Breaking Bad and The Boys and everything like that. I'd never seen him play a role like this before. So that was also awesome, seeing him be so charismatic and crazy and all over the place when he usually plays calm characters. So all-star cast of really great actors, like just starting out, and they really brought these characters to life. But if you live in Brooklyn, or even if you live in any type of urban neighborhood, you'll know people that, like the mother, sister. Obviously no one has that name, but I get what they're saying. There's always that one character that is the mother and the sister for everybody, and is trying to spread positivity and advice and keep everyone on the right track. And then also the mayor. I loved his character so much. He was one of my favorite characters in the film. He had so much hurt inside, and they really empathized that when he was having an argument with the kids. But he was always just trying to just get by and survive. And you could tell he was the mayor, because when he was not a drunk, he was a great guy that looked out for the neighborhood. So I know people like that right now in my life, so I thought that was awesome. One of the most interesting characters in this movie, and I think that helps this movie a lot, is Radio Raheem. He doesn't talk that much in the film. He doesn't really get any storylines. He doesn't really get a lot of backstory. But what he represents, I think, is that there's a lot of things in the Black community where we just want to just relax. We just want to live our lives. We just want to just go on about our day a lot of the times. And a lot of times we're reminded of, we have to fight. We have to fight the oppression. We have to fight the power. Then the music that Radio Raheem was playing, and it's annoying. It's agitating sometimes because you're just trying to live. And he was that constant reminder throughout the film where he's playing with the radio and kind of just is basically reminding people. And I thought that was an interesting way to use his character. And for him to then be the one that the unfortunate police brutality happened to and be murdered in front of everybody, being that reminder of why he's playing that music throughout, I thought was really, really powerful. What this movie does with all these characters, whether you like them, you hate them, you feel mad about them, they're racist, they're not racist, they're wrong, they're right, is that they make you feel sympathy for them. And what I think that's great is because a lot of times when these situations happen, when people riot and break a store up, when a cop kills a black person, when two people of different races fight over something like that, because obviously Sal crossed the line and said the N-word and kind of showed what was in his heart a little bit just in that moment. It showed that these people are not bad people. It's just that there's certain different circumstances that add up to it. It's just that build up, and that's what this movie is about, is that build up, that heat, that fire, that spark that will cause different things, and how all the different backstories or storylines come together to create that combustion, and it was fitting that the store went on fire. And I think that really signifies a lot of the stuff that the news and outlets and different things don't talk about, is the humanity, having sympathy for the people there and trying to find an understanding of the root cause of what's going on. It's kind of just like, oh, well, you said this, you're a terrible person, or you did this and you broke this, you're a terrible person, go to jail. There's no nuance in it, and Spike Lee brought the nuance in this movie. Now here comes the hard part. Community member Frisky asked me did the characters do the right thing? And for him, he doesn't think any of the characters did. But for me, I think it's a harder conversation than that, because I think that this movie is a conversation starter. There's a reason why Spike Lee didn't give us an answer, because there's no answer for it right now. This is something that we had to make people think about it so the future generations can find the answer. That's why he puts those parallel. I don't think that's how you say the word. Those two different quotes at the end of the movie from Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and how they talk about violence in the different ways they see them. Martin Luther King being against it, Malcolm X saying it needs to be used in the right moments and when you're defending yourself. And both are right and both could be wrong. And it just really depends on how we talk about it and execute those things. So I'm not going to say that they were wrong for breaking up the shop, because they had needed an outlet. They just saw one of their neighborhood staples and friends die, and it was kind of in direct cause of what Sal did, even though it's not really Sal's fault. He also has a right to kick you out if you are invading his business. So it becomes a complicated conversation and situation to have. And honestly, I don't know if anyone did the right thing or if they did the right thing. I just think that is an interesting conversation to have, because we're still dealing with it to this day.
To this day.
The final layer, the final level that this movie works on is the production. The production is fantastic. Shooting on location in Brooklyn brings it such authenticity. Using extras that are using people that live in that block, in that area, as extras really great, makes a very authentic feel for the film. And I really, really loved it, especially someone that lived in Brooklyn, lived close to the neighborhood that they were shooting in. I thought that was really, really great. Legendary costume designer Ruth Carter really brought it for this film, bringing to life late 80s and early 90s stylings. And what was really great, and then I did a little research and found out, is that there was purposely a lot of reds, oranges, and really bright blues used to showcase the heat and that fire and that build up. And they purposely did that. And you can see even on the mayor, his clothes look burnt a little bit. I kept seeing it and I was like, why does his clothes look dirty, but they're not dirty? It's really weird. And it's just showcasing the uncomfortableness, and those colors are different types of heat. I think she did a great job not only bringing the stylings together, but adding those motifs in the film. And give a round of applause to Spike Lee himself, because his writing, his directing was phenomenal. Using a lot of different camera angles that you don't really see in these type of films to showcase awkward situations and awkward angles, but also doing really traditional style stuff like real cool zoom ins to really focus on certain things for more dramatic, more serious moments. He did a really, really great job with the pacing and how the movie portrays itself in terms of like a slice of life that turns into a very serious drama. And I think that what helps is the dialogue is so well written, it's so good, it's so authentic, and it sounds like people who are there in real life, but also are really fun and exaggerating. You get all these quotables from the movie itself. I was saying when I was watching this movie, by the time the end happened, that if I would have saw this when I was younger, I might not have appreciated the message as much, but I know a lot of it would have just been my personality. I would have took so many of those things and added it to my personality. A lot of the handshakes and some of the stuff I still say, like bet. I say that, and they say that in this movie. So it is a big relatability there for me for this film. As you can tell, I love this film. I think that it has a great impact on cinema. We see other movies take from it and try to evolve it and do things with it. I do think that I wish modern black cinema outsiders, certain directors like Jordan Peele, would take creativity in a way that Spike Lee did with this film and do it with his films, and the placement of music and how they do things, and not just do what they think is cool for black people and kind of really add some artistry and creativity to it, like how he did in this film. I think that the first two acts being a slice of life film that's fun, funny, has these colorful characters, really made me feel at home and comfortable. And then that explosive third act shocked me to my core and really got me emotional. And I can't even imagine what my face looked like after watching the film the first time. And I think that he did a really great job of basically tricking us into this message-heavy film that is so rewatchable and fun, but really means a lot. I've reflected on so many of the different things that have happened over the course of the couple years since I've basically come aware of the things that's happening in the world when it comes to police violence and racial relations and things like that. And this movie helped me reflect on it and how maybe we need to look deeper into the situations itself. And just for that, I'm thankful for the movie. So I think this is a masterpiece. I think this is a phenomenal film. Can't wait to watch more Spike Lee joints. And with that said, I'm going to do the right thing an A. Whew, man, if I said every single thing that I would want to say about this movie, I would have been here for 3 hours. But guys, let me know. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate Do the Right Thing personally? What were your favorite moments? What were your favorite characters? If you don't like the film, let me know why. I see a few negative reviews online here and there, not that much. Some of them are like, you don't know what you're talking about. Some of them, legitimate gripes. So if you do have gripes with this film, let me know in the comments below. If you've never seen the film, I didn't fully spoil it for you. Are you going to go check it out now? Let me know. Like the video, get this video popping, let YouTube know you like my reviews. So tap that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can be notified my reviews, reactions, live discussions, and join this growing community. And you can watch more of my content right now.